Hi there, everybody. This is Lee. And in a previous interview, I commented on the instructions that progressive voters have been receiving from Correct the Record, Priorities USA, whoever it is that's stalking around, pouncing for those progressive votes, the millennial votes that Hillary Clinton said she couldn't care less about. Now she's out sending Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Michelle Obama, uh, let's see, Al Gore, I guess, all the progressive leaders she can think of to get those votes for her because she knows she can't get them herself. So, other people have to do her dirty work for her because she's either incapable or she just doesn't care. She's Hillary Clinton, and why should she have to campaign? So they're saying things like, you know what? If this year is too important, the Supreme Court, whatever they're saying, I don't know, blah 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 blah. And they're saying vote for Hillary Clinton, and then hold her feet to the fire. That's the campaign slogan. That's what she's reduced to. Vote for me, and then hold my feet to the fire, because I'm the lesser evil. Yay! That's worth getting out of bed and voting for, right? Or you can just vote for Jill Stein. Hey. Jill Stein is already where we want her to be. We don't have to make her do anything. She's already doing it. She's been doing it for years. So that's how that's working out. But okay, let's just go through. I got this article right here. And so I'm going to just kind of contemplate that, holding feet to the fire, and see what other people think. Okay, so I'm at Common Dreams. This is an article by Nick Cunningham, and it's called Holding Clinton's Feet to the Fire on Climate. There was a video earlier this year of Hillary Clinton being questioned on campaign contributions from the fossil fuel industry, and her face just went into a rage. She just went into a rage, and she used her weirding voice, that rough voice that she has, and she pointed her finger, like, said, "I'm tired," and it didn't go well, that exchange with the possible millennial voter that she's probably in need of now. So, how'd that work out? Okay. So, holding Hillary Clinton's feet to the fire on climate change. And so Nick Cunningham is outlining Hillary Clinton's track record of supporting corporate interests. And he's saying that activists are right to be concerned, partly because Hillary Clinton's delegates to write the Democratic Party platform actually stonewalled quite a bit of progressive claims, specifically targeting climate issues. Let's see. She, in response to the opposition, okay, there was opposition to amendments calling for a ban on fracking and an end to drilling on public lands, and then a carbon tax. And then there was a compromise on carbon pricing. And then there was also stonewalling and unwillingness to denounce the TransPacific Partnership, TPP. And so Bernie Sanders, of course, is like, it's hard for me to understand why Secretary Clinton's delegates won't stand behind Secretary Clinton's positions in the party's platform, he said in a statement. And obviously, I mean, there's politicking and there's politics and there's towing the party line, but then there's also square biz. And what we're seeing right here, the square biz is the reason why Hillary Clinton's delegates didn't support her positions is because they actually did support her positions. Not her stated positions, her real positions that are unstated or were stated in the past and then later flip-flopped on to give the cloaking or masking of a progressive that she actually did support them. Her delegates were supporting her real positions, which were anti-progressive. So that's what that was. And so Nick Cunningham thinks similarly. He's saying that perhaps it's because Clinton does not intend to implement the progressive climate agenda she has promised. Okay. So there are areas where activists will need to apply significant pressure if they decide to vote her into office, because they may not. But anyway, if somehow, this is what Nick Cunningham is saying, that Hillary Clinton's going to need a gentle nudge, or her feet held to the fire, or held accountable. And I'm like, when has she ever been held accountable for anything? Never. She has never been held accountable. She has never taken responsibility. She has, always done what she has wanted to do. And so this is all delusion, but let's go through it. Fracking. As Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton supported the spread of fracking technology all around the world as a part of the global shale gas initiative. And despite local opposition, Hillary Clinton's State Department focused, let's say targeted, took aim at a particular place in Eastern Europe. She wanted to help Chevron extract shale gas in the name of energy security. And so, she was kind of trying to minimize her support for fracking because Bernie Sanders kept getting at her. And there's ways that she can support it as president. I mean, there's ways that Barack Obama could support it as president, but he's not, and she's not. Clinton and Nick Cunningham is saying that Hillary Clinton might not support a national ban now, but the situation is fluid, and public pressure could put her on a similar trajectory as New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Fluid, yeah, that's basically Hillary Clinton's position on virtually all issues. You can't tab her or pin her down on anything. It's fluid. It's all like this. It could be this, it could be that, it could be this. So, fluid. Okay, and so he's saying that public pressure could put her on a similar trajectory. But what does the public use as leverage? Not voting for her? Okay, but they just did. So, TransPacific Partnership. It's the 12-state nation deal. The United States and 11 other Pacific countries. It would empower multinational corporations, granting them the ability to sue governments at a secretive international tribunal. And that's not just a theory. That's not just a maybe. It's happening right now underneath NAFTA. NAFTA is our guide. And right now, the investor state dispute settlement has been activated underneath NAFTA. So it's happening. We don't have to think like, ooh, maybe this will happen. It's already happening. ISDS is already being activated under NAFTA. An oil and gas company has sued over Quebec's fracking moratorium. Quebec put on a moratorium, they got sued. TransCanada is seeking $15 billion in damages from the United States because of our rejection of Keystone XL pipeline. We stopped that pipeline. Now we owe TransCanada $15 billion. Investor state dispute settlement. That's how it works. So basically, it's almost like we have to either allow ourselves to be violated or pay to not be violated. That's investor state dispute settlement. TPP would open ISDS to about 9,000 companies with U.S. investments alone. and that affects climate action. And so Hillary Clinton was a leading proponent of TPP, but then decided she didn't support it because Bernie Sanders kept pecking at her. But CNN found that on at least 45 occasions she supported it. Governor Terry McAuliffe kind of let it slip that Clinton would reverse course once she was in the Oval Office. And President Obama has been meeting with people in the Asian nations, and then he's held meetings here with leaders from Japan. Hillary Clinton has also been included in some of those meetings. Donald Trump has not. What does that mean? These are people who support Trans-Pacific Partnership. Barack Obama definitely does. He's signaling. He's trying to give the illusion of bipartisan support for this. John Kasich, the failed Republican candidate who seems to not realize why he failed. Maybe trade had something to do with that. But anyway, he's been assisting Barack Obama with that. And so Barack Obama's like, look, there's bipartisan support. John Kasich supports me on this issue. And so it's illusion, it's delusion. Anyway, Hillary Clinton has been meeting, and there's articles written where they're saying, well, Hillary Clinton doesn't support it, but she's just over here to say hi. Okay, drilling up public lands. Clinton has never claimed to support the Keep It in the Ground movement. She said that she would be in favor of phasing out drilling of public lands, but only as renewables begin to replace coal, gas, and oil. So that's her deal. And then she endorsed the ban on the practice, but then she walked it back a few weeks later, and that was February this year. That was just this year. And so she said she's going to look into the issue. So her position is confusing, and why not? Since it's left, right, forward, back, sideways, over, underneath. It's ducking, dodging, dipping and diving. It's fluid. Try to catch her if you can. And so Nick Cunningham is again saying sustained pressure from the public could force her hand. How? The time to force her hand is to force her to sit down and go into retirement and not vote her into office in the first place. How about that for sustained public pressure? I mean, because once you vote her into office, what? How are you going to hold her feet to the fire? How are you going to force her hand? How are you going to make her do anything at all? How? I mean, you can't make Barack Obama, never mind. Offshore drilling in the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans. And it's similar with TPP. She was for the drilling before she was against it. And then she was skeptical. But Tim Kaine is an ally of the oil and gas companies who have been pushing to open it up. So the Clinton campaign was forced to issue a more declarative policy after the Obama administration scrapped its previous support. And so at least for now, they oppose it. But he's saying that the climate movement will need to remain vigilant. And so he does say that early signs do not look good. I mean, there's all this talk, there's all this conversation coming from the Hillary Clinton campaign. But she avoids tough choices, and she deliberately uses vague language. And so that opens up the possibility of backtracking. Some people could just call it lying, but it's also described this way as too. And so her decision to appoint former Senator and Secretary of Interior Ken Salazar to lead the transition team, it does not inspire confidence. During his time in the Obama administration, Salazar supported the Keystone XL pipeline. He supported fracking. He supported drilling on public land, and he supported TransPacific Partnership. That's the leader of Hillary Clinton's transition team. That's the leader of her transition team. That's her former boss, whose legacy she's apparently supposed to continue. That's the position of her vice president. This is Hillary Clinton right here. She's showing you what she is. She's saying one thing, but what is she doing? You got to look at what she's doing. And so it's looking like she's feeling kind of favorable to fossil fuel interests. And so that angry expression and reaction that she had on the campaign trail, I mean, it's apparently, in response to a nerve being touched or something, or, she was having a bad day. But, I think it was a legitimate question based on what we're seeing so far. And so that's that issue on how to possibly hold Hillary Clinton's feet to the fire, how to put pressure on her after you don't have any leverage. After you give her votes, what's your leverage? You don't have any. Okay, so we're going to change this to a similar subject. No, actually, I'm going to do it in a separate video. I'm going to end this video here, and then I'm going to go on to the next subject, which is no DAPL.